Please join me for Ask the Good Doctor, live today and every Wednesday at 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, 12 noon Central Standard Time, and 10 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. Bring your questions.
Good afternoon. Good afternoon. It's Dr. LaJoyce Brookshire, and welcome to Ask the Good Doctor. I am here to inform you about how to attain, maintain, and reclaim your perfect health. So grab your Good Doctor notebook today. Join me on Instagram at Ask the Good Doctor and Twitter at Ask the Good Doc, and also on Facebook at Ask the Good Doctor, because you are not going to want to miss any of this today. I want to chat with you for a moment about a topic that's very dear to me, and I haven't discussed this with you all, but I'm going to share it with you today. And we are going to have a little conversation about ignoring your injuries. Yes, ignoring your injuries. Why in the world are we talking about this? Well, I have to tell you that I ignored an injury and I ended up having to have surgery because of it. That's right. In 2015, I tore my meniscus. That's right, 2015, that long ago, you all. I must have been nuts thinking that I could press my way through this, and some people can. And I thought that I would be one of them with good nutrition, losing weight, and actually going to physical therapy and getting a lot of it done. A lot of people are successful with maintaining with a torn meniscus. However, that was not the case for me. Throw this picture up, Chris. Here I am in the hospital on my way to have a total knee replacement. Ugh. Oh my gosh, I never thought that it would end up there, but that is what happened to me. First, I'd like to specifically discuss ignoring a torn meniscus. So some of you may ask, what is a meniscus and where in the world is it located? Well, it's in your knee. In my case, it was in my left knee, and the menisci increase stability for the femoral articulation. It distributes the axial load, which means the balance and the weight on that leg, and it absorbs shock. It is primarily a shock absorber and provides lubrication and nutrition to the knee joint. That is the purpose of a meniscus. And if it is not operating properly, then you cannot get nutrition to your knee. So can your knee function without a meniscus? Well, without it, you might gradually develop knee pain. And in my case, it was not gradual. It was pretty much constant. But it wasn't so bad that I needed medication. I will say that. I avoided that at all costs. And I never even took anything like Aleve or Tylenol for it on a regular basis because I just refused to. And it would only really aggravate me with a lot of walking. It did not stop me from walking my dog daily. It didn't stop me from walking the mountain like I like it. In fact, it was really clap on and clap off. Sometimes it would be really good and sometimes it would be really bad. And on days when it was bad, I'd just sit myself down, prop my foot up, put some ice on it and call it a day. And I'd move on and it'd feel better. Rub it down with a little liniment, some CBD oil or some nice rub with camphor or eucalyptus in it. And I would be good until it wasn't. So what can happen is you need to prevent arthritis from happening in the joint. And that only happens when the meniscus is functioning properly, because the arthritis sets in because the meniscus is no longer available because it's torn, right? The meniscus is no longer available to nourish that knee. So then arthritis sets in. Some of you may be asking even, why did I wait so long? Well, let me just tell you this. When I tore my meniscus, it was when I was doing my chaplain work at Lehigh Valley Hospital, which is a level 1 trauma center. So I'm trucking into the hospital. It's December 23rd, 2015. I fall face front on the concrete right outside of the doors of the hospital. Some workers pick me up because this is during the shift change. So everybody's in and out, in and out. So they pick me up, throw me in a wheelchair, and I get examined and they determine that my meniscus is torn. They wanted to do surgery right then and there and that day. And I said no. Do you know why I said no? Don't crack up. But I said no because I had a house full of people. It was December 23rd. It was Christmas. There was no way that I was going to be laid up during Christmas with a torn meniscus. It wasn't going to happen. So I said no. And that is why I didn't get it taken care of right away. So can you walk on a knee with a torn meniscus, you may ask? Well, continuing to walk on the affected leg, your symptoms are like, for me, clap on and clap off, sometimes good and sometimes bad. What are the symptoms overall, though, of a torn meniscus? Well, primarily, number one is pain, of course, and especially when trying to hold the leg straight. You want to have a propensity to bend it. And that's because that's a protective measure, and swelling and it being stiff, and it may click. Mine clicked, or it may catch. And I had that issue also with the knee catching a lot. And it felt very weak and unstable during those moments when that would happen. I got offered a myriad of things, and one of them being a cortisol shot. Now, I refused a cortisol shot until August of 2022, when I could not walk. When the knee clapped off for the last time, it clicked, and I literally could not walk. I could literally feel it. It was like a catch, and it was hanging on something, and it was not good. I was in Philadelphia. I screamed out loud in the street when it happened that strangers were coming to ask me, could they help me? And I needed help from strangers in the street at that moment. It was awful. And then I was in a wheelchair until I could get to the orthopedist the next day. So this terrible situation, the doctor offered me a cortisone shot. And I'm thinking, no, I don't want a cortisone shot. Just tell me what day we can do surgery. He said, oh, you have to go to physical therapy first. And then I said, well, I don't want a cortisone shot. And he told the lady, okay, she doesn't want it. When that nurse grabbed her little kit to walk out of the door, I thought, wait a minute. Wait a minute, don't leave. And she came back and gave me the shot. That shot lasted me until the day I had surgery in March 29th this year, to be exact. So from August to March. But they kept hounding me, asking me, you could have another shot. I was like, I don't want another shot. I don't want one. So what I did with it is what most doctors recommend, is to rest, ice it, elevate, and put some compression on it every now and again. These symptoms should alleviate themselves. And if not, you may want to consider getting some additional help. I didn't, like I said, for years, and it just got worse and worse and worse. And sometimes we just think that we could trudge through things. Well, let me tell you, I am here to encourage you not to ignore those injuries, because we need physical therapy, physical activity. And even though I could walk, I really couldn't get down in a dance class. I couldn't go to one. I perform intermittently, occasionally with my adult group that I'm a dance member of, but I couldn't anymore. And I was just really tired of not experiencing my life in its fullness, because that is something that I really, really, really missed. So what happens if a meniscus tear is left unattended? Well, you could end up like me, needing a full knee replacement eventually. And it wasn't a decision that I have ever seen coming for myself, but I am certainly glad that I finally got it taken care of. And I am certainly glad that I am on the other side of all of that pain. And now I'm on the road to getting my movement back and being able to leap tall buildings in a single bound again. And I am on my way to getting back to high heel shoes. Yes. Not that I ever left those, but during this period I had. And getting back to dance classes, which brings me an immense amount of joy. So if you have an injury, no matter what it is, tend to it. That's what I want to encourage you to do today. Tend to your injury. Don't ignore it like I did. And 2015, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 8 years. 8 years. Oh, come on. The day that thing clicked off, it was like, we're going to show you. Okay. It clapped off. I could still feel that pain. All right. But I want you to be more mindful and be more proactive in your injuries. All right. I hope you've taken some copious notes today. Don't be like me. Let my experience be an example for you. And I want to thank you all for joining us today. I want to thank my team, IW, supervising producer, Chris Green, technical producer, and DJ Indy announcer. Remember to let your eyes shine, cut back on the wine, get good food fast, and go easy on the greasy. Until next time, I'm Dr. LaJoyce Brookshire, here to help you attain and maintain your perfect health. Let's do it again next week, okay? God bless you.